Okay, so right now I'm heating and holding aloe vera juice, aloe vera gel, and glycerin. And I'll talk about the amounts in a second. And in a double boiler, I have my oils, my butters, and my emulsifiers. And I will, again, talk about the amounts in a minute. But the way that I do my liquids, and I might have said this in other videos, is if I'm using this combination, which I use a lot in lotions and creams, I will use, if I want 400 grams of aloe vera, I'll use 600 grams. And then if I want 20 grams of glycerin, I'll use 40 grams. If I want 25 grams of aloe vera, I'll use 50 grams, you know, and on and on. So I don't double the aloe vera juice because, you know, that would be a waste. But if you're using just water, you could, you know, make it as big as you want to allow for evaporation, because you're going to bring it to a boil and then you're going to heat and hold it for 20 minutes. And sometimes, you know, it goes longer for me, so, you know, it could, you know, it could possibly be less than I want. I've had that happen where it's been less than I need, and that is not fun. So for the aloe vera juice, I usually tack on about 200 grams, and for the glycerin and the aloe vera juice, I usually double it. But you can, you know, heat them separately, you know, weigh them out, whatever you want to do, but that's the way I do it. So now I'm going to take my butters, oils, and emulsifiers from the double boiler, and I'm going to put into the juice. And you don't want to tear out the scale before you put your oils in. I mean, you could. I mean, it's not a big deal if you do. But what I like to leave it together so that I have how much it is together, so that I know how much preservative to add. So here we have our little combination light scrub base. And I'm going to see, okay, it's 146. So you can add most preservatives, and well, if you're using Finalizing, it needs to be between, this is Fahrenheit, it needs to be between 150 and 170. But the non-parabens need to be below 140. But I like to wait on it till between 120 and 130, because most essential oils you should put in around 120. So I've recently been reading to put your preservative and your essential oils in separately, so I've been doing that. But I figure I might as well leave everything until it gets around 120. With some of them, like Optifen, if you wait too long, you run the risk of your emulsification breaking. And any of you who've seen like what the blueberries did to this the last time know that I do not want to see anything break today. So I'm using liquid Germall Plus, and I'm going to put it in around 120, along with my I put the jojoba oil in. I usually wait on that, but I put the jojoba oil in. But I'm going to put in the panethol, the peppermint essential oil, and the liquid Germall Plus under 120. And I'm going to let a few degrees lapse between the preservative and the essential oil. And I still am not quite sure why. If I figure it out, I'll annotate it. You guys might have noticed that I haven't been harping on sanitation through this, because I've been, you know, this is the third time I'm making this, and twice before the emulsification broke. So I've been thinking about it. So I've been putting all of my preservative, essential oils, and my exfoliants in separate containers because I want to add things a little bit at a time to keep it from breaking again. And I was cleaning this out with alcohol because I was going to mix in my kaolin clay and my pumice in here. And it slipped out of my hand, and the cranberries flew everywhere, including inside the jar. So now I have cranberries in everything. So you might be wondering when I say I'm putting in liquid Germall Plus why it's got red dots in it, and why the peppermint oil has red dots in it, and why the dead sea salts and the Epsom salt, everything is full of red dots. So that's what happened. I still have to get the kaolin clay and the pumice together. Okay, so I have cranberry fibers. I'm leaving it to last because many of you might not be familiar with cranberry fibers. I want to show you how it will color the scrub. So anyway, I'm going to put in my liquid Germall Plus with cranberry seeds right now. And if you are adding vitamin E, this is where to put it. And if you don't have it anywhere else, I had it in the infused oils, you should put it in now. And I'm going to use my stick blender to make sure that I am ear mixed. Plugging it in would probably be a great idea. I don't really need my scale anymore except to keep it within your reach. And bubbly. A little frothy. Okay, so that is our liquid Germall Plus, and now I'm going to add the vitamin B. You do have to be careful with the salt, which is why I've got everything separated and weighed out, because I do not want this to break again. So I have 6 cranberry, 30. Let's see what 30 looks like. And I got plenty more emulsifiers to come. I mean, exfoliants. One of these days my brain will work as it should. Don't see. I'm not even going to say what I see and what I don't see because I jinxed myself the last time. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to use is the Epsom salt, which is magnesium. And I have about 75 grams of that. I don't normally measure my exfoliants, but because this has been so impossible, I think it's time I do that. The other thing I like to add of late is isopropyl myrrh. It really cuts down on any kind of greasy feeling. Not that these light scrubs have greasy feeling, but I just like it, but I've left it out of here because I want as few variables as I can get. Okay, now I'm going to add some, so far so good, I'm going to add some dead sea salt. Oh, that is bubbling up. It's not good. figured I'd put in the things that could possibly break it first so that I'm not wasting other ingredients. So now I'm putting in my kaolin clay and my pumice. So I want to keep an eye on how much of that I'm adding, because these are, you know, they're silky, so $150. So $150. You can kind of hear it getting. I want to write down the 150 of kaolin clay and pumice. Okay. Usually with a scrub you can do 100 to 200% of exfoliant. But with this, I'm just not trusting the whole situation. You see, it's kind of pinkish from the cranberry seeds, and when I add the cranberry fibers, it will get much darker. I just want to make sure. It seems like my exfoliants are moving to the bottom, so I'm going to add some cranberry fibers. Let me see how close I can get you to this. Maybe not that close. Alright, let's see. See, it's very powdery. It comes out very powdery. But if you are into natural colorants, cranberry fibers make a lovely red. They work really nice in bath bombs. So I tend not to buy red micas. Sorry for the siren. The heck? I live near Sing Sing. Perhaps someone has escaped. Let me close the door. Okay, this is cranberry fibers. That does sound like the Sing Sing siren. So if a escapee doesn't come in and kill me, perhaps we'll get dispensed. It's foaming like that because of the stick blender. I'm going to let the bubbles die down. Okay, the siren was Indian Point, which is nuclear, and it was just a test, not an escapee from Sing Sing. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to add my peppermint essential oils, and hopefully that's the last thing, so that anything that could possibly have been a culprit in the last emulsification break is in here, other than those blueberry seeds, which I think were the culprit. And I put about 7 grams of the peppermint, and it's pretty strong. I have more dead sea salt, but because at a certain percentage it will start to dissolve and it feels like there's a lot in here, I'm going to leave that. But what I want to do is I want to put it into a smaller container so I can put it in the freezer, because I don't like the way it's sinking to the bottom. So the faster it gets cold, the better. So I just alcoholed this. Sorry, I'm not in camera range. I just want to get all this into this. A lot of it has sunk to the bottom. I think it's just a big bowl like this. I put the bowl like this because I don't have my tripod and it was hard to put anything so that I could get you above it. So I put it in the glass bowl, but if you don't want your exfoliants to sink to the bottom, it's best to be in a different type of container. So I've got it in this. I'm going to mix it around and then I'm going to put it in the freezer. Hopefully it will suspend some of these nice exfoliants, and I'll be back. Okay, it's down to 83. I just took it out. I'm not going to whip it again until it's down around 55, but I just wanted to show you it. I mean, I think that the cranberry fibers have made it a nice color. And also when I put the whisk in, you could feel some pumice and kaolin clay kind of sticking to the sides, sticking around the bottom. So taking it out every few minutes, not every few minutes, like every 10 minutes, to check the temperature and to also make sure that, you know, you're mixing everything well is a good idea. But I'm going to put it back in the freezer and then I'm going to take it back out at about 55 degrees. Okay, now the fire sirens are going off. Sorry. Anyway, I'm alcoholing my spoon. I just alcoholed my scale. And I'm going to jar it. I want to whip it a couple more times. But it didn't break. So the blueberries were definitely the culprit. You can see it's nice and thick. So I'm going to... I normally would have that pot away, but I'm going to make a cranberry peppermint foot cream to go along with this. I think that this is right. I mean, I was writing down the amounts as I was going along. And I will put it in the recipe what I use, and you can, you know, vary your amounts however you like. But I actually think this is the right amount of exfoliants. I mean, it just feels really nice. I think it's going to be exfoliating enough for calloused heels. But I think it'll be soft enough for the soft part. So I'm using these jars because I don't want people who buy more than one scrub for me to get their face scrub, their body scrub, and their foot scrub all confused. So I'm only going to do, I just alcoholed everything. So I'm just going to jar one and see how much we have. And not make you watch paint dry. And I will, I sell in ounces. Let's try that. Remember to change your scale from grams to ounces. Okay, that's 4 ounces. So this is a 4 ounce. I'm going to see if this is a 4 ounce. I don't know why this would come in 5 ounces, but I just want to see how much this will actually hold. It does hold 5 ounces, but it goes above the line, so I don't want to do that. So I'll make them all 4. Okay, when they solidify, I will bring you back. Okay, so here's the peppermint collection. These are the peppermint foot fizzies we made last week. It's the peppermint foot scrub that we made today. And it's the peppermint foot cream we made today. Aren't they gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous? So this is the Get Your Feet into Summer Shape collection by Splendida Nutrita, New York.